Hello viewers, Super GT here. Welcome back to the FIA series. Manufacturers, this is our quest to become a member of the SS. Once again, I was there a long time ago for about a day. I lost my rating and here we are then. Round number 5 of the manufacturer series of the final season. And we come to the Tokyo Expressway, which is an absolute monster of a straight. We've seen it all before, and it's in Group 3, so yes, driving the Nissan GTR, the manufacturer that I have chosen for this season. You see just how long it is. I was just about out of range of the guy's slipstream ahead, and this is qualifying then, so 10 minutes to set a lap time. Now qualifying isn't totally crucial here, because you can just slipstream past people, but of course you're still going to be starting near the sharp end of the grid. Now at this point, just coming up to the back of this guy on my hot lap, so not an ideal situation. Into the fast chicane, really need to have some clear space. So the main issue you have around here really is you need that slipstream down the main straight, because you can gain about a second in a lap if you get the toe off someone, if they suck you along in their vortex. But this time around I'm going to try and hang back a little bit and now go for that slipstream. So you have to time it kind of properly. And maybe I've gone a little bit too early here, because I'm going to get it all on this lap and then I'm going to slow down once we go across the line here, and then they're going to get to my toe. So slipstream is absolutely important. It's imperative that you get it right around the circuit. Can be worth a lot of time, and even if you qualify half a second quicker than you normally would have done, that can be worth quite a lot of positions, especially in the FIA races where it's a lot closer. So the Corvette goes past, I tuck back into the slipstream, such is the length of this straight, and go up the inside into turn 1. So not an ideal situation to kind of be overtaking each other and re-overtaking each other, but I did get the toe there, the second half of that straight a little bit. So negotiate that bit properly. Bit of traffic coming up ahead, so that could pose a problem further into the lap. Through the chicane, very easy to hit the wall, either side, inside or outside. Flashing my lights. Is this guy going to move? Yes, he is. Wow, okay. Very respectful driving. Now, I kind of got hammered last time for flashing, but I think on a hot lap that was fair enough. And he was slowing right down. Actually, everyone's getting out of the way for me there. They kind of said that I was on a hot lap, parting the seas like Moses once did, apparently. Coming out, down into the back straight, grazing the wall, but I don't think we lost too much time as a result of that. Looking for that green banner there, braking just off the 150 board, pretty much level with that green motorway sign. 2 apexes into this hairpin. Hold the power as early as you can, but it's very easy to slide the car coming out of there onto this main straight. It's a crucial place. It's a crucial traction zone onto the longest straight in the game. So there we go, crossing the line at 2:01.6, not the best lap, but it's good enough for pole at that point. Let me just demonstrate exactly how long the straight is, right? So coming out of the final turn, we're behind this Aston Martin. So you have this little straight section here before it goes downhill into the tunnel. And then, a fair amount of time later, you're still in the tunnel. So you're going along, across the start line, there we go. Still going, and you fast forward a bit, come out of the tunnel, come back up the hill, the other side, and then a very long time later, I've actually gone back. That's actually how long it is. It's so long that you actually go through, you transcend space and time when you go through it. So I mess up the chicane, I bail right out. He's going to flash me this time, so get right out of it, give him the space, let him set his lap. So I messed that lap up. I wasn't going to set a faster lap, and there wasn't enough time to finish another one. So diving into the pits, just hoping that I don't get jumped, and I do. 2 people, Pure Carnage, ominous name, and GTI Alberto jumping ahead. And turn 1 Carnage, that's a good idea. Even Lunavike getting in on that one. We'll see how it goes, because it can get very, very bunched.
You look like Michael Jackson Beat It.
Top-notch intros as always on Gran Turismo. Now, yeah, turn 1 carnage, it could definitely happen here because of the bunching effect with the slipstream. If we all suck each other along, everyone gets very close going to turn 1, and we're all obviously approaching at top speed, maximum velocity, around about 170 miles per hour. So here we go then. Starting third probably isn't the worst thing in the world actually, because of the slipstream, because I can get sucked along more than the others. Okay, so Supra comes back in behind the Ferrari. I'm going to go to the left, they're both going to go to the right, fair enough. And you see that slingshotting past, breaking on the 100 board, receiving a punt in the rear end, and grazing the wall as a result. Thinking about the move into there, but probably wouldn't have worked. So tucks in behind the Ferrari. I can hear plenty of contact behind, and that's the reason why you don't really want to qualify much further down than about 4th or 5th. Once you're in the middle of that pack, you can get very congested and there's a lot of fighting. Once you're in that pack, it's very difficult to kind of get out of it, or it can be. But here we are then, 2nd place. Now we have the main issue here in Gran Turismo is fuel saving. If I'm behind and I can't overtake, then the optimum thing to do is to save fuel. So through this section there is simply no overtaking. It's sort of one of those sections where it's single file, you're not going to overtake unless they make a big mistake. Supra almost goes past me, looking up the inside into this one. Doesn't quite go for it. Ferrari very wide into the wall, both sides crashing off the barriers like a pinball. I'm up into the lead, but you can see I'm going to go down to power setting 3, so I'm going to go really lean and save loads of fuel. And into this one, oh my god, I was going to try to go past the Spaniard on the straight. I don't need to now because he's been punted right off the circuit. So I'm going to still keep it on setting 3, and you might think that's a really weird thing to do, but you see here, these guys are going to go past, then I'm going to whack it back up to 1, and I'm going to get into their slipstream now. So it's all about timing of this sucking of the air. So here we go then, now I'm back into the slipstream and I can come back past. So, I mean, this is a crucial tactic because I need to fuel save ideally. There's 11 laps, I need to do a stint of 5 and a stint of 6, and I'd rather do the 6 to begin with, and at the end I don't have to fuel save so much. You see here that tactic has kind of worked perfectly. I now have the lead and I'm going to cover the inside line up into turn 1. So I've fuel saved and I've got back into the lead as a result of that little tactic there, which is crucial. And now through this section I can kind of control the pace. You see there, going through turns 1 and 2 with, again, setting 3, and there's nothing that people behind can do unless they go to setting 3 as well. You know, they're not going to get past because it's such a hard place to overtake, and well, they're just going to have to sit there and basically and kind of wait for something to happen. So again, going through here, going to go down to 2, saving more fuel through here. The guys behind just beginning to fight a little bit, so now just monitoring that gap. Because around here, again, it is so important, the gap that you have going onto that straight. Now the gap is over 1.2 seconds now, and I think that is just about big enough such that they're not going to be in my slipstream going down that straight. So at this point I'm going to attack. The gap actually up to 1.7, just need to make sure that, I think around about a second is required. You see they're 1.9 now, they've been fighting a lot. And this is the thing, you don't really want to be in that group when they're all fighting so hard over position, especially through the middle sector of this circuit because it's so close to the walls. Very easy to lose time if you start going 2 abreast through a lot of the corners. So, onto the main straight. We're going to fast forward this section here as it is so long. Even in fast forwarded mode, it is very long. Gap down to 1.6. So they are going to start thinking about their drafting a little bit more now, mainly because all I can do is just drive flat out. What they can do, they can drive flat out but slipstream each other and go past each other and back past each other, so they're gaining a couple of car lengths every straight. So I am technically always going to lose out on that straight if I'm on my own, but this is the section, therefore I need to really make sure I get right. So coming winding down through here, this part is flat out. You're looking for the 50 board on the right hand side just above, braking just before it, throwing the car in and then back on the throttle before the before the bridge above you. I've got through there nicely. I think consistency is the key through that corner because it's very easy to get wrong. Flat out almost through there. I think you can do it flat if you get it just right. Turning in on the 50. This one can be flat out if you get it right. Again, I'm just going for that consistency, just lifting off slightly to make sure that I don't make a mistake. A little bit deep into here, come back to the right and then fling it left down the hill towards the final hairpin. We've taken that very nicely. The gap up to 2.1, so gained a couple of attempts on this lap. Started off around about 1.6 at the start of the lap, so gained about half a second into the hairpin, actually up to 2.3 now. So two things really trying to manage in this race: the gap to the people behind, whilst at the same time fuel saving. Laps remaining sits at 4, so I mean if I'm going to do 6 laps, I need to be on 50% now. It's on 56, so of course 3 is half of 6, so I need to be above 50, and I still am, so I'm on course to be able to do a 6-lap stint, so that's good. And we're going to monitor whether or not the guys behind are doing the same. I'm not sure yet. If they only do 5, then they're going to have to fuel save hard in the second stint, which I'd rather not have to do. It's always easier, I think, to do it to get it out of the way early. So then, coming through down towards the chicane once again. This is the crucial corner, I think, on this whole circuit because it's very easy to get wrong. So the gap at 1.1, they've actually gained quite a lot. I think bump drafting each other. They are going to start picking up the pace, start coming back at me. So coming through there, gap at 1.1, then back up to 1.4 near enough. So I'm gaining a couple of temps, I think, through that little section. I'm flying through here. The car actually, very heavy car, does feel every bit of it's 10,000 tonnes. But in some ways that can help. There is a massive rear wing, giving me plenty of downforce. As we then come down the hill towards the hairpin. The group are right there, This is such a crucial point in the race because if I get swallowed by that group, I could easily go down to about 8th. The fastest person in this race is actually sitting in 7th at the moment, and there's a very big group behind. And actually, someone there, he was a challenger. So I'm shaking off the challengers one by one. He was doing very well in the race, but now slowing right down. So that's one biting the dust. So we then come up the straight. So, the main thing here, managing that gap so I don't get swallowed by that group. As soon as I'm in that group, I could easily go down to about 7th here, and it's going to be very difficult once you get caught. Once they're in your slipstream, once you're sucking people along that main straight, then it can be very difficult. Actually, there's about 3 or 4, there's a group of 3 or 4 just behind, I couldn't quite tell. And if they start catching me up, then I could easily lose 3 or 4 positions immediately. So crucial that I keep that gap, but also crucial that I manage the fuel at the same time. So plenty of things to manage, and I think I got that lucky break on lap 2 where they started fighting a little bit, and that's where that gap opened. That happens a lot in Gran Turismo. And I think it's the reason why qualifying is actually very important. There's always a lot of fighting on lap 1 and 2, and then the gaps open right up straight away. The field spread can be very big on lap 1. People are fighting very aggressively for position. You lose a lot of time, you lose a lot of ground, and the leader can get away. So I think so far I've run a good race. I've timed most of it perfectly, and I've done enough to fuel save for a 6-lap stint. So I've still got 2 laps worth of fuel left, 30% of fuel, as we wind out onto the main straight once again. Now lap 5, this poses the question, are people going to start pitting now? We're going to see as we come down towards the pit lane. So of course 11 laps, you can have a 5-lap stint and a 6-lap stint, or 10 and a 1 if you want, if you can really manage that. Probably you wouldn't want to do that though. So Bishop does go in only with 2% of fuel left. I've still got 26%, so he's really been revving that car hard. And you can see there 2%, 1%, 6%, 4%. These guys clearly, either their car is really bad on fuel, but I don't believe it'll be that bad, or they've just been really revving the crap out of the engine on every gear shift. So I think I've managed that one quite well. I'm going to really try to maximise this in-lap, try to maintain that gap up to 7.5 at the moment. It's only really because the guys immediately behind are the ones who just pitted. You'll see what the true gap is once I emerge in a moment from my pit stop. So So getting a good lap here, just grazing the wall, having to lift off slightly. Over the crest, turning in on 50. Car flying through here. It is a big boy, this car. The Nissan GT-R is a really heavy big boy, but it does have plenty of grip, and it's just very controllable. It's very manageable. There's no drama with this car, which is a good thing. And I think that suits the way that I like to play. Into the hairpin, Apex 1, Apex 2 not quite met. But it's okay. You see the group there, 2, 3 and 4. Nose to tail, 5 and 6 right on each other, and that kind of is true of these slipstream circuits. You just form into groups and then you can't escape. So I was quite lucky to escape and get away on lap 2. Here we go then, going in with 13%. Someone else going in with 17. So he's not going to get too much on me. 75% fuel when we leave. So I'm going to have to fuel save quite a bit. Here's the end. Well, actually not too much, but I'm going to have to be very careful and just monitor the fuel from here to the end. So let's monitor that gap actually. Let's see what it is as we exit. It's up to 8.5 seconds. I've gained so much time. I can't quite fathom how I've gained all of that time. Because I've only just done the same pit stop as everyone else. They must have had a bad lap, been fighting too much. Gap up to 8 seconds. So from here to the end it should be fairly easy running. The only real challenge is the fuel, but that should be okay. I'm just going to monitor that from here to the end. 5 laps to do with 75%. Coming through the chicane, really consistent. The car really flying through there nicely. And a little bit further round, coming through the fast right, then the fast left. The only thing that could really screw it now is, I suppose, a penalty. So as we come up the hill, this one getting somewhere close to the apex and flying in maybe a little bit too early into the left and just grazing the wall and getting myself a 5-second penalty. Well, well, well. Now, honestly, it should be okay. I've got an 8.5 second gap, but wow, if that gap was still only 1.5 seconds, then that would have lost me the race. You see the group there, 2 and 3 very close, and then 4 just dropping off. So that penalty really could have messed things up. But as long as I drive consistently from here to the end, then I should be okay. Here's ultimate penalty serving. Getting rid of 0.001. That is how you do it, kids. That's well, at that rate I'll do it quite quickly. Well, at the end of the race we're going to get it all done as we cross the line. Gap up to 9.9 seconds near enough. Crossing the line, getting rid of it for a convincing victory. And I think it's one of my finer wins because I think I just didn't really make any mistakes, just drove very consistently apart from that penalty. Really, that was about it. But in the end, timed it all perfectly, fuel saved quite well, and managed that gap as best I could. And here's the positions at the moment. Sitting 119th in the world. I need top 200 to become a member of the SS once again. So things are looking promising. Only 4 rounds done so far, but you only need to do 5. Your best 5 count. So 1 more round and then I've got 5 counting rounds and we can work from there. But I do hope you enjoyed the video as always, guys. Do let me know your thoughts. Many thanks for the support as always. We're so close to 100,000, which is absolutely incredible. Honestly, I never thought I'd get to this stage. I remember when I got to 10,000 I thought that would be it. But 100,000 very soon, which is absolutely mental. Thank you so much as always. I shall see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.